It's the weekend wrap-up powered by BetVictor. Make sure you're smashing that like and that share button. What a show we've got in store for you this evening. We're talking about the managers under pressure at the top of the league. We're going to be delving into, of course, the North London derby and the fallout from that, looking at Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool's results over the course of the weekend. Are we seeing any frailties? Are we seeing some teams really starting to pull away? We're, of course, going to be looking ahead of the big Champions League week ahead that sees El Clasico. Clasico, is that what you would say? El Clasico. That's how I would say it. Between PSG and Manchester City, Juve, Chelsea, United, with a bit of a chance to stick one back on Villarreal, and Porto versus Liverpool. We've got lots to come today and a star-studded panel as far as I'm concerned. Your boy, the kid, Have Hope is here with us having his say. I've clicked on the absolute wrong button and murdered that one. But Have Hope is here with us to have his say today. We're also joined by Sonny, sitting there ready to go, hair looking as fresh as it possibly can be. Callum is here. Of course, gutted still after his team's abysmal collapse at the weekend against Brentford. Had to throw that one in. KJ's here with us, looking ready to go. I know he's got a lot to say about Ollie today as well. And Jess is here, fresh from the North London derby victory at the weekend. Must be absolutely buzzing. Make sure you smash that like and that share button. Thank you to BetVictor again for powering this show today. Thank you very, very much indeed. The links to sign up to a BetVictor account are in the description below. We're going to be doing some bets a little bit later on ourselves as well. So go and check that out and get signed up now and take full advantage of their offers. Without any further ado, let's do this. Evening all. How are we all doing? We good?
Good. Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad. It was a very busy and interesting weekend. Lots going on. I mean, for most of us, it was actually a really bad weekend, barring Jess, to be honest. Like, we all either lost or, threw away leads or whatever it was. I mean, none of us probably happy with the results of our squad, barring Jess. We didn't get a chance to speak yesterday. How happy were you with your victory in the North London derby?
I mean, I feel good. I mean, I think I said on the last show that we would easily beat Spurs, and people laughed. But I knew if you'd watched them in the last couple of games, it doesn't matter how bad we are, they're atrocious. And they showed that. They are in decline, and there's something wrong with Nuno. Obviously, I feel like we'll talk about that later. But I'm so happy. And I know it's like, don't get carried away, all that kind of stuff. I do think we have to keep things in perspective because we could definitely lose to Brighton. But we beat our rivals, and we did it pretty easily. And so feeling good. Arteta in. What can I say?
We're obviously going to get into that a little bit. Look at Have Hope shaking his head there. And what I did want to draw attention to with BetVictor, if you look at the bottom now, that's the current odds on the next manager to go. They actually don't offer on next manager to be sacked. It's always to go. But Arteta's gone to 5-1. Nuno is now the favourite at 4-1. Ollie at 20-1. But if we go back to the same graphic a week ago, you can see the difference there. Arteta has gone from being 2-1 favourite to being 5-1. Nuno's gone from 25-1 to 4-1, and Ollie's dropped there by around 13 as well to a 20-1 odds. And it certainly feels like the pressure is now really mounting up on these managers. And I think there isn't any better place to start than with Nuno in the situation at Tottenham Hotspur. I want to go to Callum first on this, really. Do you feel that it is too premature for Spurs fans and football fans in general to say that he should be sacked? Or do you actually think, I know it's early in the season, but his position looks untenable? Like, what's your take on the current situation there?
I think it's a tough one. I think they've not recovered at all since they've lost Poch. And I think going from Poch to Mourinho never helped. Again, Mourinho has a fantastic CV, but the style of play between the two managers is very difficult to adapt for the players that were there at the time. Now, obviously, they've gone from Mourinho to Nuno, which is a much easier transition. However, the fact that Kane wanted to leave in the summer and didn't leave, and you wouldn't say they really went out and did amazing stuff in the summer. You could see that Nuno wasn't their first choice. They got turned down by everyone left, right, and centre. It was a bit of a poison chalice for Nuno taking this job. However, I think if you sack him now, where do you go? Who do you go for next? Who's going to really want to take that role? Plus, he has brought in a few new people. He is trying to change the philosophy of how they're playing. I think it will just hinder the team more sacking him right now than keeping him for maybe another couple of months to see how things play out. Plus, North London derby can always go either way. It's a game played on emotion, like most derbies are. So, for me personally, I think Nuno should stay for a little bit longer.
How about yourself, Have Hope? Did you think the position's untenable, or is it too early in the season? Is 6 games far too early to be getting rid of managers?
For me, basically, I'm one of those, and I believe in the football gods. So Mourinho was about to potentially beat Pep again in a final, and Daniel Levy, being the heartless man that he was, denied Uncle Mo from actually potentially winning a trophy over Pep with a Tottenham side. So I feel what is happening with Levy right now, it's karma, because for Levy, you could have received 100 and so million for a tree trunk known as Harry Kane, given him to Man City, and maybe use this money to help with Nuno, because I think Nuno, he's not trash. Like, Nuno isn't Frank Lampard, who was a freaking tyrant for Chelsea. He's not great, but he's not trash. But if you think of the flip side of, what if you had sold Kane for 120 or 130 that City were willing to pay, and he now gave Nuno that 130 to try to totally rebuild and reshape the entire squad and actually build it around Son? Maybe that could have happened. So I just think that Tottenham are just in a sticky situation because you've got, as Callum was saying, you've got a guy in Kane who doesn't really want to be here. He knows that he's now stuck here, and there really isn't enough belief in this team. So just think, for Spurs fans, was Mourinho really as bad as you say that it was? So yeah, I mean, it's for me, I just think it's bad karma. It's karma coming back to haunt them. So,
mate, I kind of hear where you're coming from. There's a super chat that says, to be honest, Spurs fans deserve this. You find disrespect, uncle, you like. And I'm Ole in. Ole once again, after proving people wrong, it is what it is. I kind of get what you're saying there. Look, I understand a lot of people feel like Spurs jumped the gun there. I think with Tottenham, what's important to remember is that I would say this to their fans. I get wanting Nuno out, and I get that the way they performed yesterday was disgusting. I was watching, I did like a tactical review of the show. I've watched a lot of the game back, and Arsenal were very, very good yesterday. I'll be very honest. They were very, very good. They worked harder. They run more than I've seen Arsenal run. They covered positions. They saw where the holes were in the Tottenham team, and they exploited it. It was really good to see Arsenal actually behave like that. But Tottenham have bigger problems than just Nuno. I think any Spurs fan that's sitting there thinking Spurs are in a position a bit like Man United, where it's, or maybe Man United 2 or 3 years ago, of if you think just sacking the manager is going to improve your fortunes, look again. This is the football club that during the pandemic, when the club was struggling financially, like legitimately, when they're struggling financially, their billionaire owner, instead of him pumping money into the club to keep their working class staff members at bay and to improve the squad, they took money from the government and tried to furlough staff. The talent has been drained over the last 2 years, and they haven't made almost any adequate replacements, with the likes of Eriksen and Dembele and others leaving. No real replacements been made. They are two of the best centre-backs in the league in Toby and Vertonghen, and they were a great partnership, and they didn't replace them as an example. You've then had this situation where Peditici's come in, and you've gone from like Fonseca to Conte. You've then got the Gattuso thing, and you did a U-turn because of a fan protest. And then you ended up, you went for Graham Potter. Graham Potter rejects you because he doesn't want to work with Daniel Levy. Brendan Rodgers rejected you because he didn't want to work with Daniel Levy. And you suddenly sit there and think, it's again, key stage one football fans. Sacking Nuno, great. But what else? That club needs to be run better. And for me, all I keep seeing from football fans is, I saw the amount of people I see on socials protesting against the club, tweeting about the club with the Super League thing. I can't believe my club's doing this. We've got to stand up against them. But they're buying the shirts. They're buying the merch. They're buying the tickets. And as long as you keep doing that, they're going to keep running you poorly. Why are they going to sell this football club? Because the Spurs ownership have now got what they want. They're going to be hosting events like the boxing. That's what they want. That's what the stadium's for. The stadium's not for you. The stadium isn't for you to win trophies in. That stadium is to sell to rock stars, pop stars, comedians, boxers, MMA, and the NFL. They have absolutely sold you a false dream. So as much as Nuno, for me, deserves to lose his job because he is not what the players do not want to play for him. Moore has come out slagging him off and everything else. There is so much more at play here at Tottenham as far as I'm concerned. And I think that to ignore that as a Tottenham fan and just bury your head in the sand like an ostrich and think sack Nuno, and we're back to playing that sort of champagne football. You're not. You're operating on lemonade money. The champagne's gone. It's over. And until you fans, like at other clubs, stand up and do something against your owners, you ain't getting out of this mess. Maybe the football will be prettier, but you ain't going to progress forward as a football club like you want. It's as simple and straightforward as that for me.
Yeah, they need a rebuild. I've said this for so long. Like, they're just in that weird place where they're trying to hold things together because they don't want to have to come to grips with the fact that it's over. That little period that you guys had with Pochettino, it's over, and it's been over for a long time. And this is not hate or anything. I saw this with Arsenal for years. They just, you can't just keep a couple of good players and force and not do the inevitable, which is sell Harry Kane. Over the summer, I was even on your show, Terry, like basically saying that I would prefer them to keep Kane instead of getting the 150 million, because that's what you could use to rebuild the team. Like, obviously they wouldn't be great right off the bat, but the alternative is what you see now, which is essentially a Harry Kane doing an Alexis Sanchez on them. I know what that looks like. They want to go badly. You keep them. They won't play for you anymore. So now you have a dead striker, and everything beyond him is horrendous. I mean, those guys are terrible. And that's why, even from like an Arsenal perspective, they're trash. And that's why I said that they weren't, we were going to skip right past them. We should be beating them. But the whole narrative around Spurs, that is just so done. They don't have that Dembele guy anymore. They don't have Eriksen anymore. They don't have that center back pairing. These players are average. And now you have a Kane that's not playing for you. Oh, and a manager that nobody likes. So it's time to rebuild. But I'm still sure that you guys think you can piece that together. If you guys don't start over, you
gotta look at the man at the helm though. It's flipping Levy. I'm telling you, these guys are pagan, bro. Like, he don't care. Like, you can see clear differences between teams that run like football clubs and teams that run like businesses. Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs ran like a business. That new stadium, like Terry said, that is for boxing matches, the NFL, concerts. That's what it's for. Emirates, kind of the same thing, just bigger stadium, more people in there. Old Trafford, bigger stadium, more people in there. We used to hold all these events. We don't do that anymore because guess what? It's flipping old now. You know what I'm saying? All these clubs are similarly run. They're there for business, and you can see the decline in the trophy cabinet. You can see the decline in their squad. So Man United, yes, they've slowly got back to a decent squad now, but for years and years and years, the squads weren't good enough. Then you compare them to Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool to a degree. They ran for football purposes. And you see that time and time again. When things need to get done, they get changed and they move forward. And that's the difference. The people running the football clubs are the difference now. We could talk about managers to the end of until the cows come home. We could talk about players until the cows go home. But until we address the massive issues at some of these football clubs, which is the ownership, we'll always have this. We'll all have the discussion about rebuild. But guess what? Guess who's building it?
The same people. And that's it. You're absolutely right. Sorry, go on, have hope.
No. I mean, look, I think people have to. I mean, I might be alone in this man, but I was all for the Super League, because the Super League is a natural evolution of football. People have to accept the harsh truth that football is too popular now. It's too big now. There's too much money involved. We've got the Qatari guys, my oil peeps and so forth, who want to say what's up and actually get involved in football right now because there's just too much money going around. So I think the idea of, it's my football club and they're so loyal and they love it. No, there's too much money involved. So they're like, no, like, you're going to buy that ticket. You're going to keep on coming. And we're going to treat this like a freaking business. So I just think that's the days of it being... Abramovich is just a rarity because he's a football fan. Liverpool is a business as well. So most of these clubs, they will be businesses. And eventually, when the Super League does come back...
I think the difference is, though, your clubs... Everything you do is to try and make you... Of course, FFG are trying to grow brands and make money, but they understand that you have to win things that you have to win trophies to achieve that. Now, FFG's model is different from Abramovich's and Manchester City's in terms of what they pump into it, but the end result is the same. I don't believe that Chelsea, Arsenal, or Manchester United owners, in their heart of hearts, care about winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. They want the money that comes with it, which is why they signed up to the Super League, because there was no jeopardy. It was a guaranteed amount of income, which meant their asset they've bought and purchased would maintain its value theoretically for life. It would never drop. It could never dwindle. It could never go away because it was always going to be in that league. You wouldn't even lose your fan base massively because everyone around the world would fluctuate supporting one of the teams in the Super League over anybody else. So you're going to pick up some people within that. I think that's the biggest problem there. On Nuno, though, viewers, what do you think about Nuno? Do you think he should be given more time? Do you think Spurs fans are right to want him out? What are your views and opinions?
Can I say something really quickly on that?
Yes, go on, mate.
For the Tottenham fans, I don't know where they have the audacity from to want a manager out after 6 games. First of all, do they think they're like an elite club? Spurs are not an elite club. Second of all, 6 games in. What club? What manager? What fans? When do you ever want a manager out after 6 games? And another thing is where they complain about the style of football. Since when can a manager not change his style of football? Since when can they not go from defensive to more attacking? Nuno can easily do that overnight. So I don't understand the whole 6 games in. No, he's never going to do it. Like 6 games. Like they're the sort of person so they get a house cleaner in. She misses 1 spot on her first day and sack her off. Like there's no justice to it.
I hear what you're saying there. And look, viewers, what do you make of it? We want your views. We want your opinions. We have a super chat here that comes from Mr. Jonas that says, hi, as a Fulham fan and speaking for millions of clubs with hope, have hope out. What an ironic name. Super League looking head off.
So, yeah. We also call it Haji Jonas. Why don't you say this with an AVI eye so I can actually see what you look like so I can actually abuse you as well? They cheat of you to actually pay money to abuse someone else, man. It's messed up.
Do you know what I would say? Look, I think the Super League will come back, but I think if the Super League had jeopardy and anybody could get into it, it would have gone through. It would have gone through because then there would be an incentive for the teams left in the Prem to qualify for it and be in it. As long as they add jeopardy, or if a lot more money is pumped down to the leagues outside of it, the other clubs will vote in for it as well. Like they're all just thinking about the bottom line. Also, Nabil here says, Legend says Church is still trying to find a home for this man. Oh, Legend said they can't afford adult diapers anymore. It's just the start of the season. Stay calm is what Nabil says. Nabil, do you remember you, Nabil, before?
Remember that?
Yeah. You said you got left outside of church as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, this clown. This clown.
There we go. Look, I want to speak about Arteta as well because very good weekend. I need to paint the picture here, and I'm trying to be respectful. Gooners, don't have a go at me.
Come on.
No, it's not. I don't think I'm being out of order. It was a very good win. You had a very good first half. You were blisteringly good. You were amazing. You absolutely teared them apart. No doubt about it at all. I'm sort of seeing, I've seen some journalists, some Arsenal content creators saying I got it wrong. I am Arteta in. There's the big picture of them all in the dressing room celebrating. That doesn't look like a toxic dressing room. Arteta's going to be okay. You yourself, Jess, today have sort of said, like, he's starting to convince you maybe a little bit. Igal has gone from 2 weeks ago saying Arteta out to this is the beginning of the new era for Arsenal. I want to pose a question to everybody. I'm going to go to Callum first on this one. Are Arsenal fans getting a little bit ahead of themselves after this win?
You can't come to me after quoting in the Gal quote, man. When did he say?
I want to paint the narrative first.
No, I've got that. I'm not making this up. This is legitimately going on today on socials.
Let me change the narrative.
Oh, okay. So a gal said this is the start of a new era.
Yeah.
What is this, WWE?
Hang on, bro. He said it on Friday in the preview and outside the stadium yesterday. But it isn't just a gal. I'm seeing it from some of the most respected blue tick Arsenal fans out there. Like, did we get it wrong? Arteta in. Let's have the conversation. So I'm trying to ascertain: are people getting ahead of themselves here, Callum?
All right, look, I'll be completely serious about it. Arsenal fans in general tend to flip flop quite a bit. So 1 week they'll lose and you'll see them say Arteta out. The next week they'll win like they did yesterday, and you'll start to hear claims of top 4 and potentially a trophy this season. With being honest, if I'm going to be completely honest, I kind of take what a lot of Arsenal fans say with a pinch of salt, because if they lose next week, it's going to be the same thing. Get Arteta out. So look, Arteta had a good win at the weekend. Let's be honest, Arteta's not even a top 10 manager in the Premier League. So if Arsenal aspire to be a top 4 team or above, then you need a manager who's good enough to be a top 4 to be a manager of a team who's top 4 and above. And Arteta's not that guy.
Jess, what's your take on this? As an Arsenal fan, do you feel like I'm going by? I'm not going to get your quote word for word, but you were Arteta's got to go a couple of weeks ago. Is your mind changing?
Well, let's just go back. Like in those 3 games, for me, if the players aren't playing for the manager, he has to go. And that's what I saw. I don't care who it is, if it's Callum Chambers or if it's Ben White or whoever. If you're out there playing for Arsenal, you need to be playing for the manager. And for me, against Chelsea and Man City and Brentford, they didn't do that. So, of course, I want you out. But I know they're not going to sack Arteta. I know that for sure. So for me, going into the next couple of games, remembering that we didn't have any of our players. Like we didn't have any of our main players. The team that played against Spurs was completely different than the one that played against Brentford on the first game of the season. We've won all 3 games. Were they perfect? No. Is it still kind of inconclusive? Yes, because we're going to come up against Brighton, who looks good. Aston Villa looks decent. Crystal Palace looks fine. That can change right away. But for me, they're playing for the manager, and that's the bare minimum. If they can keep these types of performances up, that doesn't mean he has to win out all of his games, because let's be real, he's going to lose a couple of games. That's just how it goes. But if he can keep up the style of play, they keep playing for him, when he gets into Europe, those are the things that I would need to see in order for him to continue to stay. If he finishes in 8th, it's done. He has to go. But if he finishes in European places, which I think for this team, if we're honest, is probably the best that we could do, we're nowhere near top 4, then you can move forward with this long-term project. But is it like he's going to win out the rest of his games and we're back? No, because we could easily just lose to Brighton. I mean, it's also North London derby. So those players were up for it. They could go to Brighton and get their pants pulled down. So it's inconclusive at this point. But would I prefer him to get it right? Yes, because I don't really want to have to start over. And again, just like Spurs, who are we going to get? What manager are we going to get right now that's going to come in and step in mid-season, in the middle of something else? So for me, it's just right there in the middle where I need to see more. But am I going to ride this win and am I going to be happy? Absolutely. Am I going to talk out of my face and say that we're going to win the title? Absolutely. Because that's what a fan does. Like, I'm just going to say it. It's just fun.
Say it then, Jess.
It's
say
fun.
It
it's fun.
Go on, Jess. Say it,
Say it
please.
then.
We're winning the league. We're winning the league. Like, what do you mean? We're winning the league. We're like 5 points behind.
And do you know what I would say, Jess? Like celebrating yesterday
and today,
party, and today, whatever it is, party, have a good time. Like I don't like this notion. What I did see yesterday, which I thought was very unfair towards Arsenal fans, was this: why are they celebrating like they've won the league? No, they just won a North London. Every time you win a derby, you should be celebrating heavily. Every single time, without fail.
Should you?
Yes. No, you should be. You should be, because that's what football's about. That is what football's about.
It's not just North London derbies. It's literally every single game Arsenal win. I see them celebrate wins over like Burnley more than I see other fans celebrate trophies. Like, it's different.
We'll continue to do it. We've been in pain. You don't understand this. Well, maybe I don't know if you were actually alive, like when Liverpool was horrible, but it wasn't that long ago.
Roy Hodgson.
It was. So you do celebrate every little win because you're shit. You're crap. So you can't take that away from us. And quite frankly, no Arsenal fan really cares what a rival fan thinks about us celebrating little wins.
Fair enough.
We're
fair
in
enough.
pain, yo. Like, let us live.
But what I will say, you're good at kind of like putting ideas in people's heads, because after yesterday, the way I seen Arsenal fans celebrate, I genuinely wouldn't actually think you were 10th, but you are 10th.
To be fair, my only thing about the Arsenal fan base is that you celebrate the win, that's calm, like do what you're doing. But Arsenal fans tend to be the one fan base that are the quickest to get on everyone else's back about everything, and that's my issue. I'm just like, oh, cool,
yes,
you know what? And then when as soon as someone gives a little bit of stick to Arsenal fans, they get upset and start crying. So I'm just like, but you're the first people to call this player crap, and your youth player better than everyone else, and your player's better than everyone else. And it's just like, but hold up. If that's the case, why are you celebrating so hard? You know what I mean? Like, so Arsenal fans celebrate, but let's not do this thing where you start to go on people's back like you're the best team in England.
No. For me, I just think the thing is just how much Arsenal have fallen Because I remember because again, this is without a doubt, Henry is still the greatest player to ever play in the Premier League. So remember what the Invincibles were, which is still one of the best teams that I've ever seen. So from when you are competing for winning the title and so forth, to over celebrating beating an average Tottenham side with a tree trunk as a striker, I mean, it's a serious decline. So that's what I'm saying. That it just what I thought Aston were like 15 years ago to what they are now, the ambitions have just completely changed. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of disagree with the fact that they shouldn't be questioned for their celebrating party yesterday. Have a good drink, go out for dinner, enjoy it. That I think that's normal and that's fair. It's the talk of like, I was wrong to. I've seen some really weird takes after. Yes, it was a good win, but at the same time, you're also laughing at how bad Spurs are under Nuno. It isn't like they've been amazing under Nuno, and you wow, we beat one of the teams that we thought were going to win the league. If you blitz Man City like that yesterday, I totally get you going, oh, maybe. I would just say celebrate the win, but tread carefully with your own expectations, because it's only going to be Arsenal fans coming out with comments like, I've had enough, Robbie, in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And it's because you start building, oh, actually, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I would say just tread a little carefully. Like, I've done that myself with my club, where I thought, remember a very famous time under LVG, we were struggling. And then we went on this 4-game run. We beat Spurs at home 3-1 after going a goal down. I think we beat Liverpool. It was Juanfield. We beat Juanfield. And then we went and beat City like 4-1, I think, Old Trafford. We won those, and then we won another game. We won 4 on the bounce, and I was like, oh my God, LVG's football's clicked. And then we won like only 2 or 3 of our remaining 10 games. It was like, that was, and that was after 3 or 4 wins against very good teams. So I would just say, tread a little carefully in relation to Arteta, but he certainly made his job a little bit safer. On Manchester United, I want to go to KJ first on this. I know that we spoke a lot about this over the course of the weekend. He is under tremendous pressure. We're going to go on to talk about the champion, ladies and gentlemen. We're previewing the Champions League games later on in the show. But when you look at the situation with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, do you feel like he's come to the end of the road? Do you think he's reached his limit with Man United? You've had time to reflect and calm down after Saturday's embarrassing defeat. Like, where are you at with it now?
I'm at with where I was, to be fair, on the weekend. Like I'm thankful for everything Ole has done. He's got the squad to where it is. He's helped do things within the club that we didn't think would be possible in terms of structure and stuff. So I'm very grateful for that. But in terms of what he does on the football pitch, his in-game management, his tactical decisions, they've come to the end of the road for me. He needs to now move on and allow someone who's got the ability to go forward and take this squad forward. This is a different kind of situation to Nuno. Nuno's legit only had 6 games with Spurs in the Premier League. Ole's had what? 2 full seasons and a half, and this is now his 3rd full season. So we've seen what Ole can do, and already the patterns have returned again and again and again. And from when you see a manager making the same kind of mistakes 3 seasons in a row, there's no longer any excuses of, he's new to the highest level, or he hasn't got this player, hasn't got that player. That squad what he has right now is legit good enough to win the Premier League. And I'm not saying you have to start the season absolutely perfect, win every single game without any conceded goals. No, things happen. But the way that we've been playing, the mistakes that have been happening, the way we concede goals, the way we have lack of attacking pressure, the way we lose the midfield battle, we've seen that for like almost 3 years now. So it all comes down to one place, which is Ole. And he just has to be moved on to bring in a better manager for us to go win titles. Because at the end of the day, he is the weakest link, not Fred, not Pogba, not whoever you think it is. It is unfortunately Ole. And as you can tell, I'm saying this, not someone who hates him, but someone who's just like, I've accepted what he is.
I mean, I don't want to ask Liverpool fans their views because I know they're going to say Ole in. You're going to say Ole in, aren't you? Like it's one of them ones.
You drop one field, you drop the bed free. Go on.
But on a real level, when it comes to Ole, do you feel he's taken him as far as he can go, or a bit like the Nuno conversation? I know that Nuno's only just in the job. Is it too early in the season for Man United fans to be wanting Ole sacked? Does he need more time with the new integrations, or actually? is it like what KJ said? Everything's been repeated again and again and again. It's the same excuses every time. The team just isn't improving quick enough. What's your take on it, Cal?
He's like, as a Liverpool fan, I want Ole to stay for years. That should say enough. Like, if I want a Man United manager to stay at your club, that should say enough. Do you know how happy I was when Fergie retired? I was over the moon when Fergie retired. See, when in January that news broke and they're like, yep, he's at the end of the season. I was like, fantastic. Now I'm worried that you're going to sack Ole because I don't want it to happen. You have to look at the way you're playing. Even though you're getting results, like the Wolves result, for example, you got battered pillar to post in that game and you got away with it. I'm thinking, this is Man United. This is a Man United with Pogba, Bruno, Ronaldo, all these top class players. And you're struggling week in, week out against average opposition. If you had a run where you were playing like City, Chelsea, Liverpool, I'd get it. Like, those are tough games. Those can go either way. But you're coming up against teams that you shouldn't be in trouble against on a regular basis. And if this was happening once every couple of months, you can excuse it. But for it to be happening regularly, season after season, and Ole's got nothing to show for it, like, you guys know deep down, this isn't Man United's level. Like, you should be competing for league titles and Champions League on a regular basis. You get into Europa League final and then the manner of which you lost it, that's not good enough, especially with the team you had to play and also the players that you've got. Like, this is not Man United level. I grew up watching Man United batter teams like Roma in the Champions League 7-1 for having the cheek to beat them away from home. I'm seeing teams rock up to Old Trafford now and think, yeah, we can get something today. And look, Villa aren't a rubbish team by any stretch of the imagination. They're actually a good team. But this Man United team isn't clicking. And no matter what Ole is given in terms of personnel, it's not working.
Mate, but you're absolutely right. And I think what... So go on, Hafo. Go on, mate.
Oh, no, I mean, no, just very briefly. Basically, for me, I call this the Disney Plus complex. I think the issue are Man United fans. Like, literally, Ole has a career. He basically breathes because of a goal he scored in 1999 in the 93rd minute, which is like a freaking tap-in. So that is the only reason why he has the job, because of something he did in 1999. And I feel that for some people, they just want the perfect Disney Plus story. This is one of our own who scored one of United's most famous goals and so forth, and we just want him to go through. But my thing is that these fairy tales of Tinkerbell, Peter Pan, it doesn't happen in the real world. Ole, he's trash. That's why people call him a freaking PE teacher. And I think, as Callum just said, rival fans are keep him at the job, because as long as he stays at the job, they're going to be cobwebs in that trophy cabinet for as long as he's in there. So you have to just be realistic and say, look, the Disney Plus story ain't going to work. Get a better manager who can actually get the very best out of this team. Because when that comes down to now going up against a Pep, a Tuchel, or in the Champions League, a Nagelsmann or an Ancelotti, Ole will always come up short.
I love how it's taken 6 games for the rivals to stop the whole Man United favourites. No, Ole tax ain't real. That's gone because Ole tax is real, bro.
You guys are only 1 point off top, but I don't think you guys feel comfortable.
No,
it's weird to see you guys 1 point off top, but it's the performances and the level that you know.
But this is the reason why on this exact show 2 weeks ago, KJ was like calling you and everybody out for when everybody was, you were all saying to him, why don't you think you can win the Champions League for these exact performances and reasons? And even with me, like I'm some, like, there's all different levels of Man United fans in terms of their support of Ole. Some are still blindly behind him. Others have been Ole out since almost day one, and they're like, again, they're loving it right now. I'm loving it. It feels like it's coming close. And I do think Ole's job's becoming close to the end, because even the likes of Gary Neville are now, I wouldn't say turning against him, but they're talking about the system and the style isn't right. But I'm more in Gary Neville's camp around, I wanted to see what he could do with a squad that doesn't really have any holes. And I know there's a CDM situation, but okay, I only think a world-class CDM matters when we're playing against other world-class teams. We've still got better midfielders than Wolves. We've still got better midfielders than overall than what Southampton have got. And what I mean by that is we wouldn't buy midfielders from any of those teams that have outplayed us and beat us in a midfield battle. So they wouldn't come to Man United. We don't want any of them. For me, what I've kind of noticed and what I've seen is the fact that Ole's been given everything now. He's got established winners. He's got world-class players from front to back in his team. And still there isn't enough consistency. Some will say, Terry, we always said this was going to happen. I was quite willing to give it an opportunity and a try. for me now, this is the perfect time to see what this club's made of. We mentioned earlier about what the owners really want. If our owners really want to win things, now is the time to move Ole on. And there are some world-class managers that are available out there. My biggest fear is that we mess this up. We either keep Ole too long and miss out on someone like a Zinedine Zidane and he ends up at a rival. We did it with Pep. We've done it with Tuchel. We've done it with Jurgen Klopp. If we'd have moved at the right times for those individuals and planned properly, we could have had one of the world's best managers at our football club. On Ole, he's done some very good things for this team. And when he came in, he was there as an interim. And he had a very good run. And he probably never should have been given the job as the permanent manager. You know, and I know KJ always jokes about like director of culture. I do think there's an element of that is true. He's helped to build structures that have made our behaviors in the transfer markets better. We've built the best squad since 2009 stroke 2010 at the football club, in my opinion. All that stuff is great. We now need someone that can come in like Tuchel did at Chelsea, like Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool, and elevate the team to that next level because it's ready to go. What I don't want is a Tottenham situation on our hands where in 2 or 3 years' time, this squad, some of it's sold, some of it retires, some of it moves on. We look back and go, how do we have all those players at our disposal and not win anything major? Like, you look at our squad now with Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane's, Bruno Fernandez's of this world. It should be winning or at the very least competing at the highest level. And I know a lot of top Reds don't like the idea of Ole needing to go, but I think these next 4 or 5 games are so crucial for him. If he doesn't start winning them, but also putting in these consistent performances, because they're the currency that really matters. Winning ugly is great, but you need to put in some performances as well. Liverpool, I remember the year you won the league 2 seasons back. Yeah, there were lots of results where it was like, nick that one. But most of your performances are really good. It's 1 in 5 where you go, we got away with that. If you're nicking every single result, eventually your luck runs out. So for me, he's coming towards the end of his tether. The bookmakers are shortening his odds. Start of the season, I think he was at 60-1, then 33-1, now 20-1. But viewers, who do you think is going to be the next manager to lose his job? I want your views and your opinions in the comments section, please. Sorry, Jess, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is usually the time, like Ole gets in these situations every single season where everybody wants him out and then he goes on a small run and then everything seems fine again and then things break down. I mean, when does that end? Because he could very easily win a couple of games. Like, it's just not stable. When do you think people will get over, like, at some point, everybody just needs to understand that he's not good enough. But I do see this all the time. Under pressure, Ole is an Ole that gets a lot of results and then breaks down again. Isn't that...
Jess, sorry. We're not the ones that need to get over the fact that he's not good enough. It's the people who run the football club. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, is if the board are just probably waiting for him to get that little run, steady the ship again, and then this is like a never-ending cycle. And this is what goes back to what Terry's saying is, like, really the higher-ups are the ones that are in trouble here because they can't be phased by it again.
They are and they're not, because Man United fans bought their season tickets. Man United fans have bought one of the biggest mouthpieces for the protests. I see him in his profile pictures now with all the new Man United gear on, like giving his money back to the Glazers. No one actually cares enough. No one actually cares about the actual problem. And if we sack Ole and bring in whoever, it doesn't fucking matter who it is, and we keep elevating forward and growing, because we have got better from when Ole came in till now across the club, then I'm kind of happy. I still have real big... I'm actually not even comfortable in bringing a new manager in. As much as I want Ole sacked, I've got this fear that we're going to get it wrong again, start all over again. It's going to fall apart again. We're going to pick the wrong person. Why? Because we've done that on so many occasions. But I at least want us to do it, because if it works out, then I'm happy because we're winning again. If it fails, I pray to God people start to see the real problem at the football club, and that's our owners. And it doesn't matter if he goes to beat Chelsea, Liverpool and City in a couple of weeks' time. If we're not by the end of this season challenging for titles or looking to lift major trophies, all of that means nothing. All of that means absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. But viewers, I want your thoughts and feelings. We've got some super chats here. The first one says, it's Jess who said that Cristiano will only score against smaller clubs, as if my boy didn't score in a big Champions League game. Young boys. Egal believes Arsenal are bigger than Liverpool and United. Shameless. That is from Pan. Joshua here says you can disrespect him as a manager. Don't disrespect him as a player. One of the best goal/assist ratios in the history of the Premier League. Yeah, I do think on Ole, again, that's where I don't side with Ole Outers. Ollie's renowned for more than just that very, very famous goal in a Champions League final. He did a lot of. He's one of Man United's greatest goal scorers in the Premier League era. The Arteta loving and Ollie hate in is a media thing. Ollie out does him all the time in the league campaigns. Yet look at the Ollie hate. So weird. Is what Kieran's got to say. We've got one here from CFC Florida that says, congratulations to Jess on the Arsenal win. She takes so much shit on the terrace. Enjoyed your watch along yesterday. Do you get a lot of crap on the terrace?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm pretty sure people in the comments low off Jess a bit way too much, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean,
they don't like you being on my neck like that, KJ. You need to lay off. Like, you're always going in on me, and honestly, like, it's just too much. You need to calm down.
Listen, don't you come here with your crocodile tears. Like, I know what you're doing, fam. You know what I'm saying? Nah, she's perfectly fine, people. She's a big girl.
Viewers tuning in, do me a big favor and smash that like button for us, please. We are doing a Champions League preview coming up very, very soon on the show. But Olu here says, I think the issue with United is a defensive compactness issue. McFred are just scapegoats for this defensive coaching issue. There is too much space in the defense that has to be fixed. I think there's a number of issues. And as I say, like, again, I'll talk, we'll start mentioning Glazers and who's going to replace him. Will they get that right? And Ole Out will just say, stop deflecting and focus on the manager. Like I've said, it's the big clubs that are struggling at the moment or have been struggling have got more issues than just their managers. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. But that's why I want to see the experiment now, as in bring in someone like Zidane and see what continues to be a problem and see what improves. And listen, I think it's well worth a bet. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to go. At this rate, I don't see United going to the round of 16, but it is highly likely he won't qualify for the Europa League either, is what Red Wolf has got to say here. It's a big claim. Ollie putting his job at risk so he wins all them tough fixtures in a month. He's big braining this. All right. Okay. I hear what you're saying there. Joshua says, yeah, Terry, he's not getting sacked. He still has the players' support. The board will look at the table 1 point off the top, I think he means, and there's too many games remaining. I hear you on that, Joshua, and I do understand what the board are thinking in relation to that. I did hear a claim earlier on today. I wanted to ask Sonny about this. There have been some Man United fans claiming that Bruno Fernandes missed that penalty on purpose to get Ollie sacked.
No, he didn't, but I'm sure you remember what Gerrard done. I forget who it was against, but Gerrard, it looked like he missed a penalty on purpose to get thingy sacked. That looked the exact same as Bruno, but he didn't miss it on purpose. That's just the ones who don't like Bruno who say that. He was
rattled.
No, he was. No, he was. No, it's not even banner. It's facts, fam. You know what I'm saying? Emery Martinez, bro.
Man, do you know what it was? Man United were rattled. The whole game we were rattled. Like it just simply wasn't good enough. Terry, if Ollie stays, he's destroying Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. If we end up like Arsenal, it's over. There's no way back, no matter what you say about swings of the era. I mean, Fergie's legacy can't be damaged by another manager. Fergie's legacy remains intact forever. But in terms of us being a club competing for those honours, that's already gone. We haven't challenged for a league title in nearly a decade. It's already finished. Ollie hasn't. By the way, Ollie hasn't done that to us because it wasn't like LVG and Jose and David Moyes maintained what Fergie built. This is the club that's fallen. Those are where I disagree with Ollie Outers. I'm not putting that on Ollie. Ollie hasn't put us into this position. That's a ridiculous notion for me. Sorry, have hope.
No, I'm just saying. So, how long was Fergie at Man United?
Nearly 30 years.
And how many Champions Leagues did he win in those 30 years?
Why? Why does that matter?
Just a simple question.
Well, you know how many he won. So, yeah, what's your point?
And Zidane was at Real Madrid and he won 3 in 3.
Yes.
Well, he's called the GOAT. Just say.
What's your point?
But
so Zidane's, hang on a minute. So Zidane's now the greatest manager in the world ever.
I'm just putting
No. Yeah, Cal, I'll catch you later on, mate. I know you got to shoot, bro. Thank you. Cal, no, I'm sorry. Have hope. Make your actual point. Say it with chest. What are you actually saying?
I'm just saying that people, you just talk about
No. What are you saying?
I'm saying that we need to question Fergie's greatness, because if you were at a club for 30 years and it can only give me 2 UCLs as a batting average, that's suspect, because people have been at clubs for less time and have won more CL.
But then,
So,
go on, Terry.
So I get your point. He was at one club for that amount of time. You can't discount what he did at Aberdeen before that in his career. There's only been 3 managers that have won more Champions Leagues than Fergie. One of them is Zidane, one of them is Ancelotti, and the other one's name completely eludes me right now. But there's, I think, 3 on 3. When you start looking at all the other managers on 2 and look at the ones that have retired, they all managed for about the same period in time, between 25 to 40 years as managers, but still only won 2. So the fact Fergie was at one club is irrelevant. Not only 3 managers in the history of football have won more than Fergie, and have only got 1 more than him. So Fergie only winning 2 Champions Leagues in his career as a manager gets belittled, but everybody else has only won 2 or 3 or less. So I don't get it. It isn't like all the other managers that managed for 30 years have 5, 6, 7 Champions Leagues. Then you have a point, by the way. If Paisley, Shankly, Clough, I'm just trying to throw names out here, the English ones, Wenger, Jose, Pep, if all these guys had 4, 5, 6, 7 Champions Leagues and Fergie had 2, you'd have a point. But no one's got more than 3, and nearly everybody has 2 or less. And they all manage for about the same period of time. I don't get your point. But it's a false thing, because it doesn't make any sense in football. Like, he's won about the same as everybody else in that era.
In 30 years, 2 in 30. Okay.
Well, 2, but then also he's got 13 league titles. Now, name me a manager in any space of time being at one club.
Are we going to do the manager tearing show at some point?
Yeah, but that's the thing is, the only reason why you're keeping it to Champions League, because that's I've got something on Fergie. But when you actually expand the actual managerial career of this man, someone like Zidane, he might have 3 Champions Leagues, but he's only got two league titles.
And this is what's crazy about it. I mean, look, Pep and Jose might go on to win more. This is why I say you have to look back and reflect on the manager's full career and all the things they did. And we will do this in a proper debate, because Fergie's won Cup Winners' Cups and other European trophies in sort of the 80s and early 90s, when they were big trophies where it was prestigious to win. It's not the Europa League now where everyone laughs at it. These were massive. So he's won more than just the Champions League. But at the same time, when Pep and Jose won their Champions Leagues very early on in their careers, there was this notion. I remember the talk then, they're going to smash Fergie's record in the Champions League. They haven't, have they? Pep still might. Pep still might go on to win 3 or 4. Jose, in my opinion, is never winning another one again. But if you went back 11 years ago, nobody would have taken your money if you'd have said, what's the odds on Jose never winning another Champions League again? Everybody was predicting him to win 3, 4, 5, 6 of the damn things at the time. And he hasn't won one since. Jose's become a manager, I think, in the early noughties. So he's been a manager now nearly 20 years, and he's won 2. That's only, he's got another 10 years to go in management, and he's around about the same amount of time as Fergie, and he's going to have the same amount as him. It's about reflecting on it. Now, the fact that he's been at like 5, 6, 7 other clubs is irrelevant. The reason all those other clubs sacked him is because he failed to win league titles and do the right things. If he'd have remained successful at those clubs, he'd still be there. Or it'd have been there for a longer period of time. Like, I don't get why Fergie gets slandered for winning in and around the same amount of Champions Leagues as every other manager in the history of football. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird one.
No. All I'm saying, this is not slander. All I'm saying is, I respect Fergie and Fergie, league titles and everything. All I'm saying is, in the 2 finals that they won, they were the worst team. And in the 2011 final, I've never seen a team being outplayed as much as they did in that 2011 final. So even the ones that they won, they were not even the strongest team, as opposed to how when Bayern or Barcelona won. So I'm just saying that I respect Fergie, but is he as good as everyone says that he is? I think look, we're gonna do a manager ranking show where we can actually focus on that. It wasn't really on the agenda for today, but again, you talk about those finals. A lot of people have said that Barca team that we lost to twice is the greatest ever club team in the history of football. So losing to them in 2 finals, as much as it was painful, did Chelsea beat them in 2012?
Yeah, okay, but all the greatest teams in history have lost football matches. That's another weird take. I mean, like, yes, they did, but
and I swear when you won the that Champions League against Bayern, you weren't the best team in that final either. And I was pretty sure against Man City, you weren't the better team against Man City.
Fergie's my guy. I'm just putting it out there.
Cool. Guys, we're going to move this on. Otherwise, we're going to stay on this subject for far too long and run out of time this evening. The Artful Dodger here said the majority of Fergie's titles were only trophies they won the majority of Fergie's titles were only trophies they won that season. That, coupled with only 2 Champions League, means he's not the best manager ever, one of the best. I don't get what that means. Sorry, can someone reread that to make that make sense?
That was the only trophy that they won in those seasons. Basically, they didn't win like multiple trophies, I guess, in that particular season. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Well, Man United were the first team ever to do a double-double, first team ever to do a treble, the first team ever to do a three-peat twice, the first team ever to win a Champions League, Premier League double, in the Premier at least. So I kind of, like, no club in the Premier League era has won. Maybe Man City now would have to look at it, but has won more multiple trophy winning seasons than Man United. I don't get that artful dodger. Again, I don't understand that. Like, literally did the first team in history to do the double-double, the first team in history to do the treble. I mean, that's literally multiple trophy winning seasons. Artful dodger in HH. Most people in the world would say Fergie is the best ever, only rivaled by, I know the name of the player. Michel, who you guys are fuming. Look, it is what it is. Listen, Igal's now here to join us as well. But before Igal does, I want to look at the odds here. So, odds on the next manager to lose your job. Remember, we are sponsored by Bet Victor. They've got some great offers at the moment. There's a number of links in the description below. There's next manager to be sacked or out. There's Premier League winners. There's the odds there for the PSG Man City game that we're going to move on to very, very soon as well. There's some Man United specials as well. Sign up now and bet £5 and get a £30 free bet on top. So if you like a little bit of a responsible bet or a nice little flutter, do it with Bet Victor. Keep supporting this show and keep this show growing. I'm actually going to stick a little cheeky bet here, though, on Nuno to lose his job.
Crazy, man.
No, I'm not crazy. It's just a cheeky little one here. I'm going to stick a little £5 on that. I meant to do 5 there. On Nuno to lose his job. Just got a little feeling. I'm going to place it on there. That's the bet I'm putting on today there. Nuno to be the next manager out. There you can see it. Put on. That bet's in. That bet is done. Igal is now with us here on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we're going to start previewing the Champions League games ahead this weekend. Make sure that like button has been smashed. Let's get it past 500 while we're live. We want to know your thoughts and feelings. First up, El Clásico. We're looking at PSG versus Manchester City. Let's go. Welcome, Miguel, by the way, to the show. Champions League. Yeah, good. Champions League previews here now. And the biggest game this week in game week 2 is going to be PSG versus Manchester City. I'm going to go to Sonny first on this one. What's your head saying about this game? Who's picking up the W?
Well, I'd actually say Liverpool Porto is the bigger game, but we'll speak about the Man City PSG game. I would say I think Man City will wipe PSG. Even if Messi plays, I still don't see, even though he is the best player of all time or in this current world right now, I don't see him settling into that game against Man City and actually causing that many issues. Man City are very well structured. They still don't impress me as much as they did last season or the year before. But they're still Man City. Look how they've done Chelsea. As much as I'll criticise Chelsea are a very well set up team. So to even score against them right now is a very good job. Chelsea are better defensively than PSG right now. So you go on to PSG. Man City, for me, easily score at least 2 against PSG. So I think, for me, I can't see PSG scoring 2. And where is the game?
In Paris.
It's in Paris. I still see Man City getting the job done. I don't know if it's going to be a battering, but Man City, for me, will easily control that.
How about yourself, Have Hope? I mean, two of your favorite players in Messi and especially Neymar will be on show tomorrow. Can Pep Guardiola tame them, or do you think this could be a rout in Paris?
Neither of them are my favorite players. Neymar is a fake Ronaldinho who has not won a World Cup or a Copa America, and Messi hasn't scored a single goal in a World Cup knockout. Hence why Maradona will always be greater than him. So let's just put that out there. City look good. You know, obviously, City got a lucky deflected goal win against Chelsea on the weekend. So I think them coming into this whole game, the thing with PSG, I've got to, roll with one more my manners, is that even if you put Messi and all these guys in here, we saw it with the Galacticos, you just have an amazing individuals. Football is a bit too complex. It's about what's the structure. Hence why you have to respect Luis Enrique and MSN, Messi, Neymar, and Cannibal Suarez, because Enrique had a foundation in which to actually make them play well. But you look at PSG, this literally is individuals. We now saw in the Marseille game on the weekend, Mbappe was saying to Idrissa Gueye that, Neymar never passes me the ball. So you obviously have Mbappe, who's like, I don't respect Messi because I dropped a 2-piece on this dude during a World Cup in 2018. So I don't even respect this freaking Messi dude. Neymar was offering his number 10 jersey to him. Nobody respects the manager. It's a holiday camp. So I think for PSG, this dream of Eminem will now say something. No, like Slim Shady front three ain't going to do nothing. City, I feel this could probably be 1-1 because I think that Messi is slowly now getting into this team. So I don't think City will go out and just win this game. So I think that based off the quality, PSG will probably get a goal. But I think overall 1-1. But for me, beyond this, if Pep can get out of his way, City are the favorites. You know, City are a very good team. City's worst enemy is Pep. So yeah.
It's an interesting take. How about yourself, Jess? I mean, it's a big game. Everyone's going to be tuning into it. How do you see it going? I mean, and this is I know this is the group stages, but it's like the pressure game, isn't it? Both these two teams have been kind of in the build up to this tournament. It was they both have to win the Champions League, and you generally want to win your group. So it makes their head-to-head so important because I think these two games will be telling around who wins and who comes second. What way are you leaning towards? Pep or a little bit of PSG and Poch?
Well, yeah, they both need this and they need it badly. But I think Man City is set up better to win this game. Again, I have huge questions about whether Pochettino has the facilities to get this done. I really don't think he is going to be able to organize this team of stars and get them to work in a team atmosphere. I'm kind of with half hope. It's a bunch of individuals. And of course, a bunch of individuals can come together and do something. But this is Man City. We're talking about a team that is a team and has one of the greatest managers as their manager. And Pochettino is nowhere near there, in my opinion. So I think Pep's biggest thing is when he gets up against another tactician that knows what they're doing, he tends to overthink it. He doesn't actually have to overthink it because Pochettino is not going to be able to hold a candle to him in terms of tactics. He's going to throw those guys out there and they'll capitulate. So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. Like I see it being very close early. And if Man City get one goal, it's done because these guys, when they're under it, they can't rebound. I'm telling you, these guys have a horrible mentality as a group, PSG. So I would say it's going to be like a close to like a 2-0 type, and get out of there. PSG can't defend for their lives. I don't know if you guys have watched them, but they tend to try to outscore teams. And with Man City's defense, I don't see them getting any joy. If you can beat Chelsea and look relatively like comfortable doing it, I think you could do that against PSG, even with the individual talent that they have. So I'd be shocked if Man City didn't beat them.
Igal, I need to ask Igal this question.
Yeah.
Firstly, thank you for the super chat asking if Igal knows what the Champions League is. Yes, he does. He does know what the Champions League is. I have to read them out.
I've never
thank
been
you very
to
much.
them.
Yeah, but you know what it is. You know what it is. You did a lot of shouting yesterday. Your voice has got deeper.
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy.
Man's voice broke at the Emirates, bruv. Man's a man now. You know what I'm saying? We in fairness, we did hear your voice at the Emirates. So I'm not surprised that it's that it basically broke the way that it broke. Like, I'm honestly, mate, you made me
Harry,
die.
just before you ask the question, Have Hope said something that I wanted to touch on. The part where he mentioned the manager, Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique had an issue trying to fit MSN in at the beginning until Messi went to the right and left that false 9 position. Because at one point Suarez was on that. It might be a similar situation where Pochettino might need to jiggle around the front three to see how that would work, or try to find a way to fit them all in the same team where they can all work together. But at the moment, we don't know if Messi can still do that false 9 role, and I don't think Pochettino has the facilities to do that.
Well, that was going to be my question to you: is are we going to finally see the Messi debut?
We're going to see a Messi debut, of course. It's in Paris
because he hasn't played. I know he's played, but he ain't played yet. Like I watched the games that he played in, and if you're an alien that had just come down from space and he's this is Lionel Messi, the second best player ever to play football, you'd be like, really, him? Like, is he going to turn up in this game, do you believe?
Wait. Who's the best player? Say he's the second best. Who's the best?
Cristiano Ronaldo. We know that. The greatest. But second best, he's still very good. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, yeah.
You just made fun of Messi and you're getting mad about that. It makes no sense. Anyways. Terry, what were you saying?
Yeah, so is Messi going to turn up?
I don't think it's necessarily Messi's show anymore. Messi's in the Mbappe show. It's Mbappe's team. It's not Neymar's team. It's not Messi's team. Mbappe is the guy who moves the needle for that team. Messi is a great player. Neymar's a great player, but Mbappe is the difference maker in that team. Everybody knows when it comes to the way that team is going to perform and how they're going to win going forward. It depends on Neymar to do what he's doing. It depends on Messi to do what he's doing. But Mbappe is going to be the one that wins them the games and changes the game by individual brilliance, moments of madness. Because Messi does not have the physicality and the to get around. He just needs to be able to do what he does in the final third. But the person who's going to win you the game consistently and make the difference, and defense are going to be worried about. It's not Neymar. It's not Messi. It's going to be Mbappe week in, week out. And I'm not going based off history. Guys, you guys are making faces. The reality situation is the young buck that's there, he's the most dynamic player on that team.
You're just saying this because you support France, bro. Legit. You're just saying this because
he's going to be leaving this summer, but he is the future. He's the most dynamic player on that pitch. Neymar and Messi, yes, they are historically great players, and they can still do amazing things. But when you have three players of that level, the one person who's going to stand out is, in my opinion, is the younger, more energetic, more lively player.
Yeah, you're just saying that because you support France, bro. This is what it is. Listen, you're making it sound like Messi is flipping over the hill.
Logic,
like, listen, Messi, it's Messi's team, bro. You don't sign Leo Messi just for it to be Mbappe's team. Why sign Messi in the first place?
I didn't say that.
That's why Mbappe's leaving. You said he's leaving. You said he's the future, bro. But how can he be the future when he's not staying at PSG? It makes no flipping sense.
Messi and Neymar are going to do Messi and Neymar things, but Mbappe is the one that's going to win them games.
Listen, viewers, what do you think in relation to that? Will Messi turn up? What's the score going to be in that game? I will go to the super chats in a few moments. We are going to be putting a bet on this. I'm going to do a correct score bet on this game. We're going to go for a correct score today. What were you thinking and feeling? See the odds here? Look at that. 1-0 to PSG there at 13-1. You've got some really interesting ones, narrow games here. 2-1 to Man City is 17-2. Jess, what would your score prediction be for this game?
You know what? I said 2-0, but I actually think I'm going to say 2-1. I still think they may get something, but it's going to be difficult. No, 2-0. 2-0. The defense, I know that people don't rate Man City's defense higher than other people's, but I think they look pretty strong with Diaz and Laporte back there. No Mendy, who's back there. Well, so yeah, I would say 2-0.
I'm going to take your prediction and put a 2-0 in there. As you can see, that's 13-1. So I'm going to stick a couple of pounds on that. As you can see there, I'm going to put a £2 bet on. That's £20. Delete that. There we go. I'm going to stick a £2 on that. £28 return there. Man City 2, Paris Saint-Germain 0 with Bet Victor. You've got the links for this exact page in the description below. So go and stick that on if you fancy backing Jess there in relation to that. There's a comment here that says, starting to believe the Terrace brings on the worst Chelsea reps. One hates his club's players. I think they mean David. And HH acts the fool. Shame on you, Terry. Only Daniel represents. I mean, Jem's good. Jem's very good, aside from those guys. Anita's amazing. She's just not here today. She's at a birthday party. That makes it sound like she's eating jelly and ice cream. She's out for one of her friends' birthdays. Doing her thing. We got some great Chelsea fans on the terrace. There's another super chat from Harry, who says, Messi's 9th debut. Bless him. Wow. The Red Wolf says PSG 3, Man City 2, Liverpool 3-1, Porto 1, Chelsea 2, Juve, he doesn't have anything there. I think he means 0. Man United 1, Villarreal 1. We're going to move on next and preview the next game coming up, which is Porto-Liverpool. So we want to know what you think and feel. Smash the like and share button. Let's do this. Big week for Liverpool, Sonny. Big week for Liverpool. Of course, you had the collapse at the weekend, and it was a collapse. You threw away a lead. It is. It's a madness. Like, the people haven't really spoke more about it. A newly promoted team coming from behind twice to draw.
Oh, no, we're not. No, it's not a madness that more people.
Don't let them deflect, Sonny. Don't let them deflect. It wasn't
a madness at all. It's a draw at the end of the day. People love to act like we got battered 5-0.
No, but it's a newly promoted team. I'm telling you now, Sonny, if Chelsea were winning 2-1 and 3-2 respectively against Brentford and they came back, you would be saying, see, I told you Tuchel wasn't right. I told you they're not that great. Like, everybody deserves criticism for throwing away leads when you're one of the big six. Sorry, when you're one of the big
but
four.
you just said we deserve to talk about it more. No way do we have to talk about that more. 3-3 at the end of the day, it's a bad result. We didn't even play that well. At the end of the day, the referee contributed to that, but it's still a point picked up at the end of the day.
I hear you.
All I'm saying is, if Man United scored that penalty and it's a draw, no one's saying, they got the point at the end of the day. It's fine. No, you would say
okay, but we're top of the league, so I'll add that.
No, but could this be your team going back to pre-Van Dijk era where it's defensive errors, high scoring games?
There you go.
Gal, you've gone too far. Too far now.
No. But listen to the logic here.
Okay.
If they're conceding 3 goals to a newly promoted team in Brentford, when they start facing other teams that have been in the league consistently and they go up against them, could they start conceding more goals this season?
Well, it's a fair question. I think. What do you reckon, Jess?
Well, I had more of a question about this whole idea about Brentford, just because they're newly promoted. We saw early on last season that Leeds was not just a newly promoted team. They were somebody that could really hurt you. I think Brentford has something similar to that. So I don't really know if it's like super fair to say that if Liverpool collapsed against newly promoted Brentford, who's not really looking like a Norwich or a West Brom or whatever, that it's so bad away from home. Or am I off on that?
You're right. No. For me personally, it's the level.
It's because of Liverpool being
the level of difference. Yeah, like remember, this team just come back from up to the Championship. It's not like they were hovering around in the Premier League for a few years and now they've started leveled up. Yes, they've come from the Championship and started off really well, but we've seen many teams do that. But they still come from the Championship. They still haven't attracted the same amount of players, the same size of players as Liverpool. Like, the difference is too much.
I think media attention-wise, because Man United lost, because there was the big game between City and Chelsea, and because of the North London derby, I think it's almost been brushed under the carpet slightly because it hasn't been the biggest news. But if Man United would have won this weekend, and maybe the game yesterday was a little bit closer and you didn't demolish Tottenham, I think there'd be a little bit more focus on it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's a big week. Away at Porto, could be a tough game. And then a big Premier League clash this weekend against Manchester City. So my question for Sonny is, with games now coming thick and fast and then another international break, what kind of changes do you expect to see tomorrow night? Because there's no way you can play your strongest team against Porto and then against Man City at the weekend, can you?
No, but we could do. Even with our squad depth, though, we've shown that we use that and they still turn up. I expect us to play Firmino tomorrow. Firmino's not even seen the pitch for, I don't know how long. I think he played like 10 minutes against Brentford. So he'll play tomorrow against Porto. I think it's tomorrow. And he'll probably do a good job because he usually does when he's not played for a while. So we have got squad depth at the end of the day where people say we haven't. And I would have said that in the summer. We proved now that we do. So I don't understand this whole thing where we don't have the squad depth to win the league. When we played our squad depth in, I want to say 3 different games now, they've all turned up to it. AC Milan, 3 goals scored, 3-2 win against a very good, one of the most informed teams in the world. Another one, Brentford, we had to drop players in the midfield. Curtis Jones came in, scored a screamer. So we've shown that we have the players to now compete in every competition. And another reason I was going to say earlier is why I'm so confident Liverpool win the Champions League is because of Poch. He manages PSG.
Wait. So you think Liverpool's going to win the Champions League and the league?
No, I think we'll only win one of them.
Okay.
All right.
Agent here with a super chat says the Liverpool fans are sounding like Klopp with all the excuses. First the wind, then the grass, now the ref. Declare says Brighton will be top today if they win the league. Yeah, they will. I actually really hope they're not going to stay top. I wouldn't have thought they're not going to do a Leicester, but it'd be nice for them to go top for a weekend at least. I think Liverpool will run out of steam. I reckon Porto will win 2-1 is what Simp says here. Rapstar with a super chat says Brentford is an unknown entity. Anything can happen with an unknown entity. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with it, but it's still a shock result. It's still it was massive. You could tell by the way that the Brentford players celebrated. And equally, like, Villa are a much better team than Brentford, most people would say. And, but that was looked at as like calamity. And that would, Man United were ridiculed, and rightfully so. So
I think it was the penalty. I think it was like that, the penalty, what Ole Gunnar said about, I need more penalties, Ronaldo, all the Ronaldo talk. You guys are you kind of got into a point where the first time you guys lost a game, it was coming.
It
Just
isn't
like
the third,
with
it's the third
us.
loss. It's the third loss.
Okay, well, a
But my
shock
point
loss
is,
like
my
that.
point is though.
You know what I mean?
My point is, it was rightfully spoke about because whenever Man United, Chelsea, City, or Liverpool lose, it's headline news. When you lose to a team that isn't going to finish inside the top 6, isn't a Champions League team, it should be big news. If you throw away leads and draw, it should be big news. Always, for all our clubs. Like, none of us should get out of it.
No, but you said a shock result. Yeah, I think you were talking about a shock performance because at the end of the day, if we drew 0-0 to Brentford or something like that, then there's no reaction. It's just because we were in a position to win it. That's nothing to do with the result because the result would still be a draw.
That's literally a shock result.
That's legit.
No, it's not. No, that's a shock performance.
If you drew 0-0 with flipping Brentford, everyone would be like, "What the hell? Why didn't you score?"
No, they
goals?"
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would. Bro,
No, they wouldn't.
you have flipping Mo Salah on your team, and you're not scoring goals.
If you don't score a game and you're 90 minutes away from home, and you guys are as good as you guys are, and you have as many chances your team would generally create, there would be a lot of criticism for your forward.
I mean, what I don't understand is how you're sitting there saying we're going to win either the Prem or the Champions League, but yet drawing against Brentford is not looked at as a shock result.
Well, wait until Brentford play most teams in the league, and then I think we'll look at a completely different aspect of this situation because I think you're going to find Liverpool are going to win most of their games this season against literally anybody else who they play.
Cool. Okay, that's fine. And I mean, again, the same could be said for. Again,
they haven't looked shaky. I think that's what.
That's what I'm saying. That Liverpool looked very good up until now in the league. 3-0, 2-0.
Okay, fine. That's a great opinion. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to accept it there. What's the score prediction? I'm going to let you pick this one, Sonny, for my bet here. What's the score going to be against Porto?
4-0, Liverpool.
No.
No. We batter Porto every time we play them. 4-0. Honestly, 4-0.
2-1.
4-0. No, Terry, honestly, 4-0.
4-0.
I reckon 4-0 is probably the favourite result as well.
Oh.
I don't think it is.
They will smash them. They will smash them.
You think a big result as well, Cage?
4-0.
4-0 currently has odds of 30-1, ladies and gentlemen. 30-1 on it being 4-0. I mean, look, I said Sonny could pick. Sonny gets to pick. There it is. I'm going to stick £2 on that. Another £2 bet. Another small bet. Remember, always bet responsibly, ladies and gentlemen, with Bet Victor. The link to do this bet yourself is in the description below. £62 I'll win if that comes off. Bet being placed there. You can see that is done live on the air. Liverpool to win 4-0 according to LFC. Sonny, next up on the show, we're talking Man United, Villarreal. Big night for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Could a little bit of revenge be on the cards, or could it be the 4th defeat in 5 games for Man United? Smash that like button. Let's do it. KJ, the last time we played Villarreal, me and you left in tears. How are you feeling about Wednesday's game in the Champions League? Will United bounce back and put a performance in? Will we scrape a win? Or are you fearful of another embarrassing defeat?
Oh, we are not even getting it. We're not gonna win. We're not gonna lose. We're getting that disgusting 1-1, bro. You know what I mean? It's happening again. Like Villarreal have played so many games and they're undefeated right now. Most of them are flipping draws. We know what Emery likes to do. We saw it in Premier League. You saw it in the Europa League. He's very defensively tight, compact. He makes sure there's nothing. He gives the opposition team nothing, not even a sniff. He's going to do that again. He's just going to do it again. And you know what? You can do that at Manchester United right now. Like you're allowed to do that. With the way that we are set up right now, it's easier for teams with structure, teams with defensive discipline to shut out or make things difficult for Man United and hit on the counter attack. So I can see us getting a 1-1 draw. Like, I really can. I don't see us getting any revenge. I don't think these revenge stories help Manchester United anyway. I don't think, again, the mentality of the manager and the team is not of that. We're just going to do a 1-1 draw, and it'll be painful as per usual.
How about yourself, Miguel? How do you see this game panning out on Wednesday for Manchester United?
I feel like this is the calm before the storm. You guys are going to win this game. And then you're going to start to go on a bad run because I've seen your fixtures in the Premier League and it looks like I feel like this is the one game that you guys are going to get and it's going to kind of calm things down for Ole and everything. And then you're going to lose to Man City or whoever you face next. And then it's going to be like back on pressure on Ole. And then it's just going to be a roller coaster of a circus. And I feel like this is the one game where you guys are going to nick it. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game, similar to in the Europa League final. But this time, the difference is you have Cristiano, and he's going to score that goal that's needed to win you guys a game. I think you're going to win 2-1, but it's going to be a tight 2-1. and then the circus is going to begin again in the Premier League. KJ, Terry, you there?
I think you guys are going to win. You guys are going to win this.
Yeah, cool.
You know?
What's going on?
I was like, what's going on?
It's like Terry doesn't know how to take what I said.
No, I can hear it. I'm not even upset about it. I'm just like, cool.
I said you're gonna win.
They're gonna win, but they're gonna go on a run. This is always what happens. I think always under pressure. There's no way that you guys are gonna continue this run. There's no way. So it's not even a run. It's one loss in the Premier League, and then there were some other things in other competitions. So I would imagine that you guys would beat Villarreal. It's gonna be narrow. It's not gonna be a blowout. It's just not, because Unai knows how to shithouse his way through a game. And then you'll beat Everton. I think that's your next game. Mm-hmm. You know, I think you'll be fine. Like, this is what Ole Gunnar does. And it's just, I can't see it. I would say 1-0 Man United, something like that.
They're gonna score early, Villarreal, and then Manchester United's gonna come back, win 2-1. That's what I think is gonna happen. It's just gonna be Unai Emery bottling it.
Jess, you said that Emery can shit out a game. What's it called? Nagelsmann last year could shit out a game, but they lost 5-0 to Man United, and I think that it's going to be the same sort of game again, where United just score like 4 goals or something. Like, look at their attack; they're ready for them.
They're going to win. No, I definitely think they're going to win because they need a result. Like, they have to get it. Like, they will turn this around. Like, you know, so I think they'll win, and they'll go on a run. Like, that's what always happens. You know.
What do you guys think?
I actually agree with Sonny. I actually think Man United are going to score a lot of goals this week in this game. I think we're overdue scoring a lot of goals in the defeats we've had, and we've deserved to lose those games. We haven't been clinical. The positive, I would say, and I know a lot of Ole Outers won't want to hear the positives, is that we have had opportunities to score. The worrying element is if you're not creating chances. I remember years back under Fergie, we went through this period of about 4 or 5 games where we barely scored. And I remember just Fergie speaking about it, saying he isn't that worried because we're creating the chances, and at some point your luck turns around. I see us scoring at least 4 goals. We should have scored that many goals against Villarreal when we played them in the final. We just weren't clinical. We just didn't put it away. I've watched that game back and you watch it back and you're like, how did we not win? It was crazy when you watch it back. So I don't think we'll have a problem with them as long as we're clinical. So it's as long as you look at yesterday's game between Arsenal and Spurs. If Arsenal fluffed their shots like Harry Kane fluffed his opportunities, but Harry Kane was clinical, the result could have gone the other way. Like, there are fine margins in these games sometimes. Like, do you get what I'm saying? If that first shot from Emil Smith-Rowe puts wide like Harry Kane did, but then Harry Kane's header before half-time goes in the bottom corner. So if we're clinical against them, we will have far more chances. Same against Villa the other day. If we were clinical in front of goal, we'd have been 2 or 3-0 up before their headed goal at the end. So I see us scoring lots of goals in this game, and that's what I'm vying towards. We're going to go to the betting page in a minute, but Will Flex here says, what's worse, this or the City versus Southampton when they only had 1 shot on target? Because that hasn't been talked about, and we won't be back to pre-Virgil curse because of other CBs we now have. Do you know what I would say, Will? Yeah. Sorry, what I would say, Will, is this. Whenever one of the big 4 drops points to a team to a mid-table team and below, it's shocking. That's called a shock result. It's shock. Liverpool drawing with Brentford, Man United losing to Villa, City dropping points to Southampton. They're all shock results. I don't differentiate between any of them. There's always context that can be applied, but they're all, at the end of the day, it's like, wow. How do we know that? Because they're the results that get you bantered. If drawing to Brentford wasn't a problem, there wouldn't have been any banter. There wouldn't be any.
It's a shock for now.
It's a shock.
For now, it's a shock. For now, it's a shock.
Why?
Because Brentford will finish high up towards the end of the season, and we'll look back at that and go, "Yeah, it's a good point when we won the league or something."
So if Villa finished 5th, Man United losing 1-0 isn't a bad result then.
No, it's not. It's not a surprising result. It shouldn't be a shock.
Okay, so Man United losing at home to a team that, how high up in the league do you have to finish for Man United to lose or draw a game at home to not be a shock result?
Top 10.
So if someone who's 10th beats Man United at Old Trafford, it's just a everyday occurrence. Doesn't matter. Don't look at it.
No, there's bits where you can go, well, it could have been different, but it shouldn't be a shock in any way.
Okay. Cool. So we'll leave it there. Terry, our last 2 losses have been in dangerous areas, but we shoot instead of passing. Yeah, and I think that's the thing there, Josh. There's little decisions, and Mason Greenwood's been one of the worst at it, actually, just doing it at the right time. Villarreal were impressive in the Super Cup, taking Chelsea to penalties. Yes, they were. You know, I'm not saying they're a bad team, just because I said I think we'll score against them. Let's do a few more super chats that have come through here. I want to try not to miss any as best I can. Terry is right. Dropping points to mid-table and lower mid-table teams like Brentford, Villa, Arsenal, and Burnley, etc., should be criticized, is what the Artful Dodger. I saw what you did there, my friend. Someone here saying the league is very competitive. So I'm cool with that. So listen, as a Man United fan, with a club right now that often drops points to teams lower down, if we're saying that isn't shocking, I'm all up for accepting it. I'm now happy that losing to Aston Villa is not a bad result. Thank you all. Thank you. I'll accept that tomorrow. But I know I can see Jess and everyone else's face going, "Oh shit, what have we done to ourselves here? We can't banter anyone anymore. There's no banter.
No.
We get rid of What are you talking about? Mad. Harry here says toxic social media and fear of banter has you calling it a shock, but big teams drop points regularly in the league, Terry, for F's sake, literally non-stop.
Yeah, and you get bantered for it.
So what he's saying is because of banter, it's only because of banter it's a shock result. In reality, it's not a shock to drop points to a newly promoted team or a team in mid-table or in the bottom. I mean, I'm gonna put this, guys, we ain't debating this. I'm putting this to the viewers. Viewers, if a big four team loses points at home or away to a newly promoted side, a relegation team, a mid-table team, is it just right? Yes or no? Is it a shocking result? Is it a bad result? Yes or no? I want to know what I've never heard this before, ever. I want to know now, yes or no. I don't even think I'm on a mad one. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. Today. I missed the super chat from the Red Wolf, who says if Liverpool draw 0-0 with Brentford, Liverpool would be slammed for having a dull attack, is what he said there.
By pundits.
Listen, I'm going to put the bet I'm going to put on. I'm actually going to put on Bet Victor's boosted odds here. You can see it here. They've got a boosted bet to 25-1, and that's Man United to win 4-1. The link for this is in the description below. Go and sign up for your Bet Victor account now. If you bet £5, which is what I'm putting on this result, I'm putting a £5 bet on United to win 4-1. If you go and do this, sign up and do this now, you get a £30 free bet on top. Go and make use of that right now. Check all the terms and conditions and be over the age of 18. 130 quid's coming my way. We're going to slap them 4-1.
Only could know the reason 100 quid's coming your way is because of 4-0 versus Porto.
Maybe they'll both come in and I'll be quids in. And I'll tell who lives near. And then when me and KJ are in the studio Friday, I'll take him for lunch. That's what we'll do.
Fingers in that. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Look, there's no. What we got here? No, yes. Shock, no. Banter, yes. 100% yes. Yes, no. Of course it is. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
shock, no.
yes.
Banter, yes. That's what it should be.
No, simply put, if you lose to Brentford or you draw against Brentford, a team that's never been in the Premier League, and it's the first time in their history facing you at your ground, it's a shock.
But the thing is, though, Jess and Igal, you've kind of pulled on Sonny's side around these things shouldn't be shocking. If drawing and losing points to teams of that level isn't upsetting or shocking, why do you guys get so angry when Arsenal lose to teams outside the top four?
I'm disagreeing with Sonny. I don't agree with him.
But when you were talking about Brentford coming up, you were like, no, they're this thing, they're a good side, they haven't looked shaky.
Oh,
Jess was asking a question.
No, I was asking, like, can we not? Because I see what Sonny's trying to say. Like, if at the end of the season Brentford ended up, in sixth somehow, you would be like, oh yeah, But I personally just think that certain teams, because of their fan bases, the size of their fan bases, and how active they are, they're likely to get more bantered, like Arsenal, like Man United, when they have a shock result or a bad result or draw to a team that they're not supposed to. That's just how it is. And so, like, it should be the same. Like Liverpool, that's an unacceptable result for you guys, really, in general. But I just feel like people are waiting for Man United to get a bad result because it's Man United.
We're the biggest club in England, absolutely. Like, I totally get it. Southwark here says yes. But add context. Liverpool drew with Brentford away, not a good result. But United losing to Villa at home is a shocking result.
What does our result have to do with Liverpool's result? It's still bad. Like, I don't get it.
I suppose it's this, though. Again, I suppose it's how much better do you think Villa are compared to Brentford? I mean, a lot of people have said that Villa are a really good side. So I don't know. Listen, I didn't even expect I didn't expect this conversation to even happen tonight. I didn't expect it. I'm so confused. I'm literally confused.
I think it's kind of like that thing where when you get in trouble when you're a kid and you're like, you were with your friends and they did it too, but they didn't get in trouble. So you're like, but they did it too. Like, it's kind of like that thing where you're trying to like grab them in with you. Like, come on, like you didn't see that they did it.
No, it's not. You know why it's not?
You know why?
Because even if Liverpool lost, we would still get more headlines for drawing a game than them losing.
But you know why that is. You know why that is.
Stop. Then say it. Say the only reason we're giving you crap is because you're the bigger team. I don't mind it then.
No, because if we lost, we'd still be top of the league. If you lose, you'd probably go down to like 7th or something.
No, we had the same amount of points as you, bruv, so it's impossible. That's
you don't have the same amount of points as us.
We did on Saturday when we both kicked off. We all both had the same amount of points. We had 13. You had 13.
Yeah, but what about your goal difference?
But we wouldn't have. We couldn't have dropped to 7th.
All right, well, you could drop to probably about 5th.
No, we dropped to 4th.
We dropped to 4th.
It happened.
All right, well, you're 4th, we're first. That's the point.
That isn't. No, sorry, we have digressed, but I'm actually intrigued by this conversation. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
I don't understand. No, I don't understand how dropping points from a losing position.
Bigger the banter, bigger the club. Bigger the banter.
Sorry, stop, both stop. Gal, go for it. I am confused.
Liverpool drew to a promoted side. Manchester United lost to a Premier League team that's been here for 2-3 years that is supposed to be better than the team that Liverpool lost to. I get it. That drew to. I get that. But the difference is you guys lost. So there's more banter in the scenario that you guys lost and how you lost.
I'm not worried about banter. I get the banter. I'm not challenging banter. I'm challenging people saying it's not shocking to lose a league.
I agree with you. It is shocking. They're both shocking.
That's it. All it is.
Sonny's the only person. The only person here that doesn't agree with that.
United. It's the fact that how can a team who's done something bad not get called bad for it?
No, but you guys are putting me and Jess in Sonny's take.
I never said you. Did I say you though? I didn't say you. Flipping out.
My take's the right take.
Listen, I'm just more confused, but I've seen a lot of people defending it, and I'm trying to, you know me here, I try to ascertain the logic behind it. So that I'm confused. Invincibles check notes drop points against 9 mid-table teams. Treble winners, 79 points. We cannot call it the toughest league in the world when say never drop points.
No, I said never drop points.
What? But
it's about the shocking part. That's the main thing. Is it a shock result or not?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it is. Without any context, it is.
But there ain't no context needed.
Yeah.
No. There's no.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I want to hear every time Man United or Chelsea or someone else drop points. Every single time, context needs to be added, and then therefore no one can say anything.
Still gonna banter you for it.
Yes, and you should. That's my point. Yeah. You're saying we shouldn't banter you because it isn't shocking. Fuck my boots.
No, banter and the fact it's a shock result is two completely different things.
If it's not shocking, hang on. If it's not shocking, if there's no shock, there's no banter. No,
there's banter because you're annoyed your team dropped points. It's as simple as that.
But you only get banter when it's a shock result. No one banters Burnley when they lose to Man City because it's meant to happen. You can't. Maybe my brain don't work.
Yeah, Sonny.
Sorry. So hang on. Sorry, bro. We can't talk about the Prem being the best in the world. Then expect every top team to win every game against mid-table teams. There will be letdowns. Yeah. And there are letdowns. Hence letdowns. Letdowns are. I don't know. Will here. If it's a one-time thing, it's fine. But if it keeps happening, yes, you have to use context. It depends on stuff. But it is a shock, is what Will Flex has got to say here. Simply, I would have put this comment in. I'm proper confused. Yeah, me too. Everyone's pretty much saying it is a shock.
It is.
Cool.
Because in context, Liverpool were supposed to win 3-1, and Manchester United were marginal favorites in comparison to Liverpool. So both of them are shocks.
Thank you. That's all
I don't think did anybody say it wasn't though. Oh, Sonny. I didn't.
Sonny.
I didn't say that. I want to be in my separate bubble.
I don't think it's a shock.
Someone here says, no, it doesn't need to be a shock to be banter. Yeah, but then it's dead banter and it don't work, bruv. You can't banter like Spurs getting beat by Man City. There's no banter in that unless they get beat. Again, you can get a shock result within a normal result. Spurs, if they get beat, yesterday was a prime example. Because you slapped them, they got bantered. If it was a close game and you nicked it 1-0, no one would have laughed at Tottenham. But because you battered them, it made it more shocking, thus banter. I think there has to always be an element of shock for it or surprise for the banter to work. Otherwise, it's dead banter. Artem here says, this must be a younger generation thing. There's no way dropping points to a newly promoted team, especially when you have world-class players. Yeah, listen.
Well,
maybe
Brentford at 9 right now.
Cool. But okay, cool. Cool. I think we can move on from there. Man United bet's gone in. Make sure you've smashed that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we're doing Juve versus Chelsea. Let's go. Juve versus Chelsea. What are you saying, Jess? Who's winning this one?
Oh, this is a hard one to call just because I think it's going to be such a boring game and it's going to be so close because Chelsea doesn't score a lot of goals. And Juventus, as good as they probably are in their league and decent they are in their league and the players that they have, they're just not that great of a team when it comes to these type of cups. You know what I mean? Like when they play against better opposition. I think Chelsea are going to barely win it 1-0. I see that. I think Juventus is missing a lot of players, aren't they? I'm not sure. I thought I saw like Morata might be out, Dybala might be out. Like there's quite a bit of like their better players are going to be out. And I just think Chelsea is going to want to respond to the loss against City. And I would expect them to be very tough to beat and for them to nick a goal from Lukaku or somebody like that. So I would say a very, very narrow 1-0, which is pretty much what Chelsea does anyway.
What are you saying, KJ? Where's your head at with this one? Juve, by the way, yeah, they've got Dybala and Morata. Dybala's out, Morata is doubtful. But Chelsea have got Pulisic out, Mount, Reece James, and Jorginho all doubtful as well.
Oh, no, they are slapping them, man. Easy.
Who's slapping who?
Chelsea are slapping Juve, bro. Have you not seen what they've been doing in their flipping league? They've been atrocious. Yeah. And I haven't got the main players either. They are getting done up nicely by Chelsea, bro. They are. I know you don't, Sonny. I know you don't like Chelsea. I know you don't like Tuchel. I know.
Chelsea aren't slapping a team like Juve ever.
Yeah, bro, listen. Right now, Juve ain't the same Juve that we've been thinking of. They are not. They are not it right now. And therefore, a team who, let's remember, are the champions of Europe, do have a striker that beat them to the league last season, is going to slap them, like hands down, easily. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I have no fear whatsoever.
You know what? I have to agree with KJ. I think it's going to be a situation where they do concede a goal, Chelsea. I know Chelsea like getting their clean sheets, but they're not going to get a clean sheet over there in Italy. But what they're going to do is they're going to show up there. They're going to grab 3 goals and a consolation goal for Juventus. Juventus is going to just lose this game. Juventus are not in good form. Juventus have not been playing well. They've won their last 2 games, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat Chelsea. And I think this Chelsea team is a very good team. So in comparison to Juve has just been a shell of themselves from the past couple of years. I don't agree with anybody thinking Juve is going to win this game.
Interesting. What's the score prediction going to be? We can with KJ. What's the score going to be in this one?
Oh, 3-0.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
English teams doing up Europe this week. English teams doing up Europe. We better not be too happy about the English teams doing well. We'll get called some pejoratives. People are like, I can't believe KJ's a gammon. He thinks all the English teams are going to smash the Europeans. I mean, you'll probably get someone accuse you of that. A lot of people are saying it, though. A lot of people, there's 3-0s, there's 2-0s. Harry here thinks it's going to be 3-1 to Chelsea.
Yeah, same.
Do you know what? I'll take your bet there. I'm going to take your bet on there, KJ, and I'm going to go with a 3-0 win here to Chelsea. That's 17-1. That is 17-1. I'm going to go a couple of pounds on that as well. Could be a big week for me. Could be a big week for me here. You can put the bet on now with Bet Victor as well. The links are all in the description below. Please get yourself signed up and keep this show going throughout the course of the season. Of course, bet responsibly. Bet what you can afford to lose. Have fun with it. Don't spend money that you need for food or rent or bills. That would be a madness. Please don't do
petrol.
that. Yeah. I mean, if you've got no petrol, you've got to stay at home, have a flutter with it instead. Do you know what I mean? Have a laugh. Have a laugh. It'll be there. There we go. A lot of people saying 3-0, to be fair. A lot of people are saying
where is this came from? It's going to be a boring 0-0.
I still think it's going to be a 1-0 close one, to be honest. Because we'll see.
It's Juventus versus Burnley as well. I can't remember last time Burnley been in Europe.
But guys, Juventus has been terrible recently.
I know they've been terrible, but Chelsea to me is not a team that's just going to score these 3 goals. Like,
they can't break teams down.
I get it. Like, I understand why you would think that. I think they'll dominate the game, dominate possession, be better, but I still think they'll dominate and come out with like a 1-0, 2-0, not a 3-0, 4-0 battering. That's all.
No, but people have been saying they don't create. They've won 3-0, 2-0, 3-0 already in the league. This like
very clinical.
What if you're very clinical, then you score flipping goals?
No, but you're not always very clinical. You go through spells during seasons where you have about 5 games where you finish most of your chances, and then the rest of the season you never touch that sort of height again, ever.
No, yeah, but right now, are they in a good goal scoring form?
No.
Listen,
besides one game, yeah.
If Juventus can concede 2 goals to Sampdoria and 2 goals to this other team I've never even heard of, what's it called, Spezia, and then AC Milan, honestly, I don't think Chelsea are going to go into that, go over there to Italy and not at least score at least 2 to 3 goals. In my opinion, minimum.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have gone with 3-0 in my own prediction, but we went with KJ's. They're awful at the moment. They're absolutely awful at the minute, and that Chelsea are going to want to bounce back and get the feel-good factor ahead of the weekend games. We were meant to talk tonight about Mo Salah and him entering the GOAT conversation. Premier League GOATs here. We will spend 5 minutes on that, and I think we might have to save it for later on in the week just because we ended up speaking about shocking results for longer than I expected, and Have Hope threw in stuff about Fergie, so we've kind of eaten into the time a little bit. But I want to read something out here as to why I think we have to start looking at him. But I already think he's Liverpool's greatest ever football player in the Prem. But I was looking at this before 2017. Luis Suarez had the most goals in a Premier League season. Cristiano Ronaldo had the most Premier League goals as a wide player stroke winger. Teddy Sheringham had the most opening match day goals. So he had 4 goals on the opening day of the season. Aguero had the record for most player of the month awards in one season with 2. Van Persie had the record for most team goals scored in one season. Shearer had the record for most games scored in one season, 23. Shearer had the record for fewest minutes to reach 50 goals. And Didier Drogba, most goals in a season by an African player. Since Salah now holds all those records. Most goals in one season, most goals as a winger, most goals. He's done 5 opening day season goals. All of them awards. He literally taken all those records away as a wide player. His consistency since 2017 has been absolutely amazing. I mean, absolutely out of this world. His consistency has been absolutely brilliant. I mean, probably going to save it for later on in the week, but I do want to start having the conversation around whether he is already in the conversation. Maybe he needs to win more. What else does Mo Salah need to do to be in the GOAT conversation? Or are we going to throw things in there like, he just isn't popular enough or fashionable enough, or, not enough people are wearing gloves to school because of the way he is as an individual. Not enough people are growing their hair big and boofy. Is it a personal thing? Can he never be in the conversation? We want to have that debate. We're going to do it later on in the week, etc. But for me, I'm intrigued by it because I think Mo Salah is moving into that realm now where he's breaking records. His consistency is the best Liverpool have ever had in the Premier League era. He's winning the major trophies with them, and he's a sensational football player. So I want to have that conversation. We're going to do that on Thursday's show, though. Adam's here, says, love or hate his opinions. One thing I'll say is Sonny is a special type of fan. He has me dying laughing with his hot takes. He should be a national treasure, is what Adam
Thank
says
you.
about you there, Sonny.
My request to DM say otherwise, but thank you.
Protect Sonny at all costs.
We love Sonny here. Hi, since Brendan Rodgers, Vardy has more league goals than Salah in less games. Imagine Salah at Leicester. Big game bias stinks on TFT. Wow. I mean, we spoke about Vardy before, but we're talking about Mo Salah. It's not a big game bias. It's a topical conversation because of the records that he's breaking. You know, if you go back to watch the Football Terrace when Jamie Vardy was winning Premier Leagues and when he went on that run of, I want to say it was like 10, 11 games on the bounce he scored 11. We were talking about Jamie Vardy because it was topical to talk about it. We're also looking at an inside forward and not a striker here, or a wide player and not a striker. So we're going to compare Mo Salah to Rashford's and Hazard's and Ronaldo's, peak Ronaldo's, because that's the position that he plays in, Harry. But I really appreciate the super chat and support of the channel, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to have that chat later on in the week. We haven't got the time to do it tonight. Everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We really do appreciate all your support on the terrace. Back tomorrow. I'll have a packed lunch episode for you tomorrow. I'm in Unit 7 tomorrow. I'm going to have the show, of course, Straight Facts with Lee Gunnar back on the terrace tomorrow. I can't wait to challenge him about his Saka and Emil Smith Rowe prop. I'm looking forward to that. Also, Fan Park Live with the new name returns tomorrow. I'll be in the studio. Man like Adam Charles, Neeks will be there. We'll be reviewing the Champions League games in Unit 7. So if you're a fan of Fan Park Live or FPL, make sure you're tuning in tomorrow. I'm very emotional about it. Very, very emotional indeed to be back kind of where it all begun, really. I'm not sitting in this. I actually looking forward to getting out. I stay at home far too much. It's become a little bit nauseating. Hey, Terry, I'd banter Trent for all the goals Liverpool have conceded on the weekend, but then again, that isn't a shock to anyone except Sonny.
Well, it's clear agenda. That's all it is. Trent was at fault for none of them.
He was at fault for the.
We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.